So this film combines like both like neo-noir and romance.
Mhm.
How did you go about establishing the two tones?
So tones, we talked a lot about old films, old classical films. I don't want to. I mean, we didn't really have like specific reference for this film, but the Park Chan-wook and I mean, we are big fan of like cinemas, old cinemas. So this film was influenced by all those films we loved, but we didn't really. I don't think we have like we never actually talked about those two things separately and how we gonna do it, how we gonna make it look like. We just have that feel. I mean, it wasn't really specific. We just one thing we just said was just let's make this film look like those films, and that was it. I mean, but technically, you need something more, and you need and not and also it is not even possible because we are at the digital shooting era right now, so you can't really mimic what film does. I mean, you have to shoot with film with all lighting to make it look like that, but we didn't do it because we just didn't want to like mimic something already great. So we thought we just have that in mind, this idea. We want this film look like old classical films. And every decision we made on the film, maybe we had that in mind. So that influenced us over.
Well, I definitely felt it as I was watching it.
Mhm.
Um, Now, the film is also set like, again, you're constantly merging like these two worlds, and this one has like the two worlds of Busan and Ipoh, but Ipoh is a made up world.
Yes.
Um, so like, how did you go about creating like the important visual differences of these cities besides the obvious mist?
Yeah, mist is like, yeah, it is obvious and it was hard. It was important because we couldn't really shoot the film in misty day. So we had VFX department to post mist. So everything, all the mist in the film is VFX, but it's not something easy. Just you just tell your VFX team. So we had to give them like right material to work with. So you cannot really have like harsh direct sunlight in your material, but you can't really wait for the cloudy day to shoot this film. So I had to sometimes just block the sun or find the cloud, find a shadow area to shoot, and sometimes shoot in with a backlight. So schedule was the issue. We have like a small, I mean, limited time to shoot this amount, I mean, this and this shot, and later we have to go to the other place to shoot this shots without harsh sunlight. So it wasn't easy. So
You're you're very dictated by the weather.
yeah, dictated by the weather, but at the same time, you cannot really can't be so dictated by the weather because we have like actors and we have like they're older too. I mean, you can't really tell every time. You can't really tell every time you shoot this in out of order. Sometimes you have to go by order for the emotions for the actors. So it was hard.
Ah. Um, there was this one really amazing shot when the detective discovers like arrives and at the body in the pool where he used a canted angle.
Mhm.
Um, what was can you talk a bit about your decision to tilt the camera at that point in the film?
It is not technically dead body's POV, but I wanted to make that shot feel like dead body's POV because dead body died like this. He he was frozen this way, so I tilt the camera, I touch the camera this way, as if it's like his POV. That was the idea.
Okay, it was
Mhm.
a beautiful shot.
Thank you. What that all happened when we made storyboard. When we this was discussed in like a few months before we actually shoot it.
Yeah, this storyboard process. So what was it like working with Park Chan-wook?
It was fun. I mean, I was such a big fan of his film, so it's like fan meeting in the morning. like you get to meet this director you always liked. You work with him, you can discuss shots, and you can talk about the films that we like. So we start from there, and we just make the shot list. And he told me in the beginning, let's not move the camera too much. He wanted to do it a little different way, like unlike his previous film, he want this film shot a little more stationary camera, like more static camera, static angles. But yeah, so we try to find the interesting shots in that way without moving the cameras. And we decide to move when it's like really necessary. So compared to other Park Chan-wook's films, this film, I mean, the camera in this film doesn't move much.
Yeah, the camera didn't move much, but you had a lot of depth in your shots.
So yeah, depth. That was hard part, because I mean, it sometimes it's even harder to make it that way, because you have to find this static shot interesting to look at for a long time. So we scouted the location many times to find like good spot to set the camera, and that takes a long time. I mean, and then long screen time. So yeah, you got it right. I mean, we try hard to get that depth and everything to make it look interesting without moving camera.
It did look interesting without moving the camera. I was not bored by the shots.
Nice.
The film also, because like it had that like voyeuristic aesthetic. Like, was that also part of it, like keeping the static shot?
Yes, and voyeuristic feeling. Since this couple has such a sacred relationship, we want the audience to feel. I mean, every movie is that way, but especially this one, want the audience have that feeling too. So that's why we come up with like cell phone's POV and computer monitor's POV. And that gives you a little more like kind of a strange voyeuristic feeling to the audience. Add that. So that was our intention behind it.
My last question really is for you. Like, what's next? Like,
I'm working tonight with Park Chan-wook. I'm shooting Sympathizer, which is HBO show that Park Chan-wook is producing.
I am familiar with that one because it's got some Canadians involved in it.
Yeah. Our producers.
Yeah.
Have you know those people?
I know Dawn McKellar a little bit, and I mean, obviously I know of Sandra Oh. I've never met her.
Are you Canadian?
Yeah, I'm Canadian.
Okay. Yeah, so Don, Neve, also Sandra, yeah, they're all like friendly Canadian on set. And I mean, Don's gonna be there tonight, and we're actually shooting tonight. Tonight is day 22.
Oh, so you're in the thick of it now.
And it's going well.
That's good. That's good. Well, I'll look forward to seeing that. That comes out. Is that in the same kind of style, or is that going to be a very different style from this? Can you say?
No, what I can say is Robert Downey Jr. is playing 5 different characters in the film.
Okay, that does not sound very similar to this.
Yes, it's not quite similar. It is something new and different.
Well, I look forward to seeing what your work looks like in The Sympathizer. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice meeting you, likewise. And
keep up the great work.
thank you.